In this extra step, what we're going to do is add the ability for our player to make footstep sounds while they're walking around in our environment. So what we need to do is first go to our scripts folder. So we go to resources and then scripts and then created. We're going to right click inside this folder and create a C# script. And of course, make sure you rename this file before you click off of it. So we're going to name it Footstep, not plural, Footstep sounds. So sounds is plural, footsteps is not plural. So Footstep sounds. Once you get that script created there, we can go ahead and go to our player object and drag the Footstep sounds object right onto our player. Next, we can go ahead and open that script up. We're going to add some variables at the top here. So we're going to say public float step distance, and this is going to determine how far our player has to walk to play that footstep sound. We're then going to say public audio clip array, which is going to be a collection of multiple footstep sounds, and that's where we're going to select which footstep sound that plays is going to come from. So again, we're going to name that footstep sounds, just like that. Next, we want to add an audio source variable. So audio source AS, and then vector3 previous pause, because what we're going to do to play our sound is measure the distance where we currently are to our previous position. And if we've passed that step distance, then we'll play one of our footstep sounds. In the start method, we need to assign some values to those variables. So we're going to say AS equals get component audio source, just like that, and then open and close parentheses and a semicolon. And then previous pause equals transform dot position. Finally, let's drop down into update. We're going to say if vector3 dot distance transform dot position comma previous position, previous pause. If that vector3 dot distance between our current position and our previous position is greater than our step distance, then we set our previous position to our current position, and then we tell our audio source to play one shot or one playthrough of one of our footstep sounds. And we can select a random footstep sounds by saying footstep sounds, and then in square brackets random dot range, open and close parentheses 0, comma footstep sounds dot length, and then outside of our parentheses, square brackets, and second parentheses, we'll add our semicolon. And what that'll do is it'll select a random footstep sound from our array, and it'll do that by picking a random number between 0 and the length of our footstep sounds array, and then grabbing the index of the sound out of that array based on this random number. Once we've got that, let's go ahead and save our scene and then head back into Unity. We're going to actually assign those footstep sounds to that array of sounds. So here you see these footstep sounds array. If we click it, it'll say list is empty. And I think we have a number of footstep sounds to pick from. If we go back into our resources folder in the project panel and then find the sounds folder and then footsteps, there's two types here. There is a footsteps floor sound and a footsteps grass sound. You can actually see what these sound like by selecting one. And then this little bar at the bottom here will say the file name, and it'll have this little arrow mouse cursor. You can drag this up, and then this little play button will appear. And it's a little quiet. You probably can't hear it super well, but if you play that, you'll be able to hear what the sound actually sounds like. So I prefer these concrete sounds, and it looks like we have a number. It looks like 13. We don't need to use them all. You're welcome to do that if you'd like. I generally think 5 is about good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set mine to 5, and then I'm just going to pick 5 random ones out of this list, doing my best not to repeat any. There we go, and drag them in just like that. And once you've got that, you can go ahead and save your scene and then walk around and test it out. As we go through and make changes to our player by adding objects or making tweaks and things, let's always make sure that this serves as a nice reminder. Let's always make sure that we select our player, go to the overrides tab, and hit apply all, just to make sure that all of the changes we're making are applied to our player in all of our scenes.